I never thought I'd trade my roar for a salute. T-Rex, once the king of the prehistoric jungle, now marching in formation. They see me as a weapon, a living tank. But deep down, I miss the thrill of the hunt, the freedom of the wild. What have I become? Title: Dino Duty, a T-Rex in the Army. Once upon a time, in a world not too different from ours, a T-Rex named Tommy lived in the bustling city of Dinoville. Unlike his fellow T-Rexes, who were content chomping on tree trunks and stomping through the jungle, Tommy had big dreams. He wanted to join the military. Why? Because nothing says natural-born soldier like a 7-ton carnivore with tiny arms and a big attitude. Tommy waddled into the recruitment office one sunny afternoon, his tail knocking over a fire hydrant on the way in. The recruiters, a couple of wide-eyed humans, stared up at the towering dinosaur. "I want to serve my country!" Tommy roared, his voice shaking the posters off the walls. The recruiters exchanged nervous glances. Do you have any experience?" "I hunted down a herd of Triceratops last week. They never saw it coming." "That's impressive," said the sergeant. "But can you follow orders?" "Of course! My mom told me to clean my cave once, and I almost did." The sergeant sighed. "All right, you're in, but you'll need to pass basic training." Tommy arrived at the training ground, where the other recruits, a mix of scrawny humans and bulky bears, gawked at him. Drill Sergeant Murphy, a no-nonsense bulldog of a man, strode up to Tommy. "Who let Jurassic Park loose in my camp?" he bellowed. Tommy saluted, his tiny arm barely reaching his forehead. "Reporting for duty, sir." Murphy squinted at him. "Let's see what you've got, soldier." First up was the obstacle course. Tommy crushed the tire hurdles under his massive feet, obliterated the climbing wall with a headbutt, and accidentally ate the rope swing. Murphy pinched the bridge of his nose. "You're not supposed to destroy everything." "I was improvising," Tommy said proudly. Next was marksmanship training. Tommy tried to hold a rifle, but his tiny arms just couldn't reach the trigger. Undeterred, he picked up a tank with his teeth and hurled it at the target, scoring a perfect bullseye. The recruits erupted into cheers. "Not regulation," Murphy grumbled, "but effective." At dinner, Tommy's appetite proved to be another challenge. While the other soldiers lined up for their trays, Tommy grabbed the entire buffet table, piled it into his mouth, and chomped down with a thunderous crunch. "Hey, that was my lasagna!" shouted a recruit. "Sorry," Tommy mumbled, crumbs raining down like confetti. "I'm carbo loading for tomorrow's drills." The next day, the recruits were sent into the field for war games. Tommy's team was tasked with capturing the enemy flag. The opposing team, armed with paintball guns, set up an ambush. "Move quietly," whispered Private Jenkins, Tommy's teammate. "Got it," Tommy whispered back, his booming voice causing a nearby tree to collapse. As the team advanced, the enemy opened fire. Paintballs splattered everywhere, but Tommy used his massive tail as a shield, sending paintballs ricocheting in all directions. Then, with a roar, he charged the enemy camp, scattering their defenses like bowling pins. Tommy returned with the flag clutched in his jaws. "Victory!" he roared, his teammates cheering behind him. Despite the chaos, Tommy made it through boot camp. On graduation day, he stood proudly in his custom-made uniform, the buttons straining against his scaly chest. Drill Sergeant Murphy handed him his diploma, shaking his head in disbelief. "You're the most unconventional soldier I've ever trained," Murphy said. "But you've got heart, and a terrifying roar." Tommy beamed. "Thank you, sir. I'll make you proud." As Tommy marched off to his first assignment, his fellow soldiers couldn't help but laugh. Sure, he was clumsy, loud, and ate everything in sight, but there was no denying that Tommy was a T-Rex with a mission, and a whole lot of moxie. Tommy's military career was legendary. He became known as the Jurassic Juggernaut, feared by enemies and adored by his comrades. And though he never quite figured out how to hold a gun, he didn't need to. Because when you're a T-Rex in the Army, your best weapon is yourself, the end.